Zino hadn't entered the mirror chamber in weeks. He told himself he didn't need to, that the voices would go quiet if he just stopped listening, that reflections, if ignored, would stay still. But tonight, the room called. The air thickened the moment he stepped inside. Dozens of gilded mirrors lined the walls, floor to ceiling. None of them reflected properly. Not from age, from intent. These weren't mirrors for beauty, they were watchers. And lately, they had been whispering. He stopped before the central mirror, the tallest, rimmed in bone and gold. Its glass was dark like oil under moonlight. It shimmered. And then his reflection stepped out. Not a ghost, not a dream. It was not. The eyes were colder, the smile too still. Around its neck, the seventh chain, the last one, the one that hadn't yet broken. I thought you were a vision, Zino said. The reflection tilted its head. I am, just not yours. Then it lunged. Their bodies collided, flesh slamming into stone, memory scraping against memory. Zino fell hard, breath ripped from his lungs, blood hot in his mouth. The reflection hovered above him, grinning. You called to the pit, you fed it, but it does not obey you. Zino tried to speak, choked. You were the favored son, it whispered, but now you're just a door. Then it vanished. Zino was alone, except for the blood, and the whisper, thin and dry, floating through the cracked mirror. One sibling must die. Miles away, Nari thrashed in her sleep. Sweat soaked her pillow. She was dreaming of a mirror, of fire, of a boy with her brother's eyes, screaming as the world burned. When she awoke, every reflective surface in Tene's hut had fogged over. Water bowls, window glass, even polished wood. She lifted her teacup. Inside, a message traced in condensation. He bleeds now. You must choose soon. The eclipse began quietly. At first, Nkemba just dimmed, like dusk had come early. Traffic slowed, birds circled, streetlights blinked erratically. But by noon, the sky was no longer gray. It was bruised, and it stank. Not of smoke, of memory. Tene stood barefoot in the dust quarter, arms raised, chanting in the language older than empire. Joku na anyagi, ochichiri na esin imeya. Let what is hidden burn true. Birds spiraled overhead and fell. Mirrors in shops and taxis and homes all cracked at once. In the hospitals, 10 patients screamed simultaneously. All said the same word, and Ogugu, the devourer. Inside the Ekanjo estate, Zino stood in silence, watching the eclipse through stained glass. Minister Omelora at his side. The red-eyed twins stood still behind him. This will pass in 20 minutes, Omelora said. No, Zino murmured. It started weeks ago. Today is just when the world noticed. He pulled a brittle scroll from his coat. The seal cracked without touch. It was the old contract, the pact his father made with the bone priests. 3 signatures. And now, a 4th line had appeared. His own. Written in blood. On the streets, panic bloomed. Not loud, not chaotic. Worse. People stopped, stared into mirrors, puddles, glass, and smiled. But the smiles weren't theirs. Nari and Aika pushed through ash-coated alleyways, ducking under collapsed arches, dodging frozen people with wide, hollow grins. They've stopped screaming, Aika whispered. Because they've been taken, Nari said. And the eater feeds on sound. They reached Tene's hut. She was waiting, eyes white. The seal is open, she said. What once lived in reflection now walks in skin. She handed Nari a shard of cracked mirror. 7 names were etched on it. Only 3 remained. The rest had already been devoured. Far beneath the earth, the 7th chain pulsed, then cracked. Not with a scream, with silence. And in that silence, the eater of names took its first real breath. It didn't rise in flame or shadow. It rose in absence. A mask came first, bone white with too many mouths, each one mid-scream. Its body followed, wrapped in cloth marked with rituals too old for paper. Its eyes were stitched shut. Gold beads trailed like veins from its back. Zino stood still. The eater did not strike. It whispered, and with each word something slipped from Zino's mind. His first memory, his mother's lullaby, the name of his 3rd servant, the color of the sky. Kalume lunged, loyal to the last. One mouth on the mask opened. Kalume dropped, not dead. Unwritten. The eater turned again to Zino, then paused. Something else was rising. Nari collapsed to her knees inside the Temple of the Weavers. The mirror shard in her hand glowed like coal. She saw it now, not in dream, in truth. The eater. Its mask of mouths, its robes made of prayer and memory. It stood between breath and time, not born but bargained into being. And it remembered her. Her mother had fed it a name to protect her. Now it wanted that name back. Tene appeared behind her, reflected in the mirror before she spoke aloud. The seventh chain is broken. You have one chance left. She held out a mask, plain white, carved with a spiral. The eater spares only those who wear its opposite, a face it cannot consume. Nari took the mask. The sky turned completely black. Mirrors shattered, dogs howled, and across Nkemba, the forgetting began. Some forgot names, others forgot how to pray or who they loved. In every home, carved into mirrors, walls, whispered into pillows, feed me or be forgotten. The shrine at Kutenlau waited in the forest, tilting, breathing, watching. Nari approached with the mask hidden beneath her shawl and her mother's journal against her chest. Aika walked beside her, jaw tight, machete slung over her shoulder. The ground exhaled with each step. They passed beneath the arch. Tene stood in the shrine's inner ring, circling 7 flames. You must call it. I already saw it. Seeing is not summoning. You must speak, in the place of naming. Nari stepped to the altar, the bone stone, the same place she once placed her hand as a child. She placed it again, and whispered, "Come then, I remember what you are." The wind froze, the fire dimmed, the shadows moved. Aika's grip tightened. Something's wrong. Tene turned. Too late. The floor cracked. Symbols lit red beneath their feet. A trap, the spiral reversed. And from the dark, Zino stepped forward, clapping slowly. "Well done, sister," he said. "You brought it up. All I had to do was follow." Nari's blood turned cold. Zino smiled, motioned. 4 guards emerged, masked, armored, armed. Aika fought, took one down, but the rest overpowered her. Tene lunged. Zino struck her with the hilt of a bone dagger. She dropped. "You don't understand," Nari hissed. "You've already broken the seal. You can't control it." "I don't need to control it," he replied. "I just need to survive it." And then he did the unthinkable. He placed a soul-binding mask, nearly identical to Nari's, on Aika's face. "A trade," he said. "Her life for your silence." Nari screamed. The eater stirred, but it was too late. The pit no longer whispered. It chanted. 1,000 voices, not living, screamed through the mine's walls. The chamber dripped blood. Chain fragments glowed red. Zino knelt at the edge. Kalume lay behind him, lifeless. Zino opened the scroll. His blood signature faded. The pact was void. The eater had come, not on his terms. Its mask loomed over him, and when it stepped into his chest, he smiled, because now he had the voice of something older than kings. Nari awoke beneath the shrine, bound to a pillar. Her mask gone. Aika was chained across from her, unconscious, the cursed mask still clinging to her face. Tene chanted from the shadows. Nari whispered the only song she had left. "Aha, nebe yanada. Let the fire answer before the name is taken." A spark lit in her palm, small but alive. Tene opened her eyes. "You're not done," she whispered. "You're becoming." Across Nkemba, mirrors turned to ash. Statues cracked. Entire blocks forgot themselves. Not from war, from erasure. The second awakening had begun.